So the current situation is pretty weird. I haven't seen any of my friends in the last 4 weeks, and to be completely honest with you, I'm wondering when my sanity will totally vanish. Most people only look at one side of the coin though. But the virus also opens up a lot of new opportunities for the most of us. I know a lot of people still have to work, no question. But I also know a lot of people that are bored at the time because they don't know what to do with their new free time. So I figured, why not use it for something productive? Therefore, my team and I decided to create a new series called DoArtsyStuff. But you probably already know that considering you read the title of this video. If you know our channel and our content, you're probably wondering, why is this video in English? We decided to switch from German to English on YouTube. The only thing that is going to stay German, at least for now, is the podcast and our short films. But languages aside, what is DoArtsyStuff? We all like to learn new stuff, but we rarely do it. Laziness, stress or even peer pressure can prevent us from taking the path of learning. That's why we decided to start this little series, to show you what we learn and to hopefully inspire you to start learning as well. So now you know what the series is about, but what is today's episode about? Learning tricks on a longboard. You've probably already seen one of these. They're just like skateboards, but well in long. Anyways, we all know that you can stand on a longboard and drive with it. But did you also know that you can dance on it? I can't dance. Shocking, right? I can't dance in general, and now I want to dance on a longboard? I know, it's a long shot, but how do you actually do it? Okay, so basically you move your feet into different positions, which causes the longboard to move and turn into different positions, which in turn looks cool. I think a video can explain it better. So I'm never letting go. So I'm never letting go. Yeah, please don't strike me. Of course there are many different ways to dance on a longboard, so let's start with the cross step. The cross step should look something like this. You place your first foot on the back of the board, then you place your second foot in a 45-degree angle in front of the first foot, then you do a cross step over the second foot, and then you place your second foot in front of the board. Your first foot on the back of the board, and then you repeat the whole thing. I explained it kinda bad, didn't I? Well, okay, for anyone interested, there's a link in the description on how to properly do it. For this episode's challenge I decided to learn 3 steps in 3 weeks. First the cross step that I already showed to you. Then the Peter Pan, my favorite, because it looks like you are gliding above the ground. Which makes sense considering the name. And last but not least, the 180. So I made a schedule. I trained every day for about 30 minutes if it didn't rain or snow. Now I was ready to start. My first attempt looked like this. Okay, I really am a talented skater. Or am I? I wasn't all that truthful when I said I'm going to learn 3 new steps. The first step wasn't that hard because I already learned it 2 years ago. Back then I also tried to learn longboard dancing, but I stopped after like a week because I wasn't improving a lot. Not seeing any improvement got me bored pretty quickly, so I decided to quit. Which is exactly the problem why so many people don't learn anything new. And that problem of getting bored and not improving a lot also got me now, 2 years later. But I didn't stop. I wanted to learn, and learning takes time. Before we keep on going, I want to show some stuff you don't want to do while longboard dancing. If you wanna get out of it without breaking countless bones. You don't want to lean too much to the back of the board or the front, because then you're going to lose balance. Same counts for right and left. You don't want to look down too much either, because then you might drive into a car, or in our case, the camera. And the number 1 thing you should never do is stepping on the front wheel, because then you're going to fall. The hard part is that if you place your foot wrong, even just a tiny bit, the whole step looks like shit. And that is what I was trying to improve. It's a dance, and a dance is supposed to look good. So let's make it look good. After hours of doing the same repetitive task, I saw only little improvement, and so I got frustrated. It took me only one try to learn how to probably do it, but it took me an infinity amount of times to make it look good. I was stuck, it wasn't making any sense. Actually, it was. Let me show you something. There's a theory out there that says that it takes 10,000 hours to become an expert in something. So it takes you 10,000 hours to become an expert tennis player, or an expert basketball player, or an expert chess player. This theory is very controversial, but I think we can all agree that it takes a lot of time to perfect a skill. So why even bother learning anything if it just takes too much time? Well, for that we need to look at the so-called learning curve. It turns out that the time spent learning something and the actual skill we get from it doesn't behave in a linear motion, but rather a logarithmic one. Which means that you need a lot more time to get from amateur to expert than from beginner to amateur. But it also means that you don't need a lot of time to, for example, learn skateboarding to an extent where you can consider yourself a part of the skateboard community. It really doesn't even take 1000 or 100 hours. The actual time that it takes is, and of course this can vary again, 20 hours. Only 20 hours to learn something completely new. Sounds wrong, doesn't it? Well, it isn't. People just stop learning too early. So after 16 days of only training the cross step, I decided to switch and try the Peter Pan. One thing I wouldn't say I hated but disliked about training is how unpredictable it was. I'm the kind of person that likes to plan everything in advance. I always write down the exact time that I think it will take me to complete a task. Of course, sometimes it's just a vague guess, but this time I had to completely rely on luck and pick my training time pretty much randomly. I repeated the same thing over and over, and I would never know how much repetitions it would take me to be able to do this one trick. My first attempts were pretty wobbly, but after a few tries I was already doing the right steps, and with time my form also got better and better. Guess how much time it took me to achieve this level of performance? About 20 minutes. I mean, that is just insane. It took me 16 days to have very little improvements with the cross step. But it took me only 20 minutes to learn an entire new step? But after that there was only very little time to learn the third trick, the 180. And so I decided to let it be. The plan was to learn 3 different steps, but I only got to do 2. I didn't expect the first step to take me that long. If I hadn't been this focused on perfecting it, I probably could have done it. The thing that annoyed me the most about the whole training phase is the perceived inefficiency. Practicing means repeating the same mistakes over and over, which isn't pleasing at all. But you can't really fight against it. You will need to repeat the same mistakes over and over, hundreds, maybe thousands of times. But you can't really do anything about it. You need to accept it. Some people call this trusting the process, which means something like doing the best that you can and then just kind of accepting your fate, not trying to fight against it. I couldn't plan my progress, I couldn't predict how much time it would take me to learn this skill. But as soon as I accepted this, longboard dancing became something like a balance to my normal life. While dancing, I was able to not completely, but partly, switch off the world around me. I was doing something entirely different, something unpredictable, which I accepted to be unpredictable. And therefore, I didn't have to worry about anything. My head was free. Who would have thought that something as easy as accepting that it is unpredictable would make such a difference? I wasn't thinking about the future. I was living in the moment. And that is something that I only partly realized while skating, and mostly while scripting and recording this video. But I'm sure that I already knew it back then. Especially when I look at scenes like this. I think what I was feeling at that time, these moments without any problems and stress, was inner peace. Thank you so much for watching. Learning how to dance on a longboard was a very fun process for me, and I hope you enjoyed watching, or maybe even got motivated yourself to try something new. I'm definitely going to keep up longboard dancing, as it is something what really gives me balance, and I think I can still learn a lot from it, not only tricks but also about myself. I will keep you updated. If you enjoyed this video, please show it with a like. If you have any suggestions on what I could learn next, please leave a comment. And if you like what we are doing and have not subscribed yet, consider subscribing. That's all for today, and I will see you in the next video. Keep on being creative. Bye.